Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you turning in to WRN, World Racing Network. I'm Patrick Morrison. I'll be filling in for Mitchell Adams tonight. Follow me along, per the usual, is Tyler Belanger. Will be following next to me tonight for the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series tonight, sponsored by Stay Tuned Sports 160 here at Talladega. This is going to be a 2.6-mile track with, these cars are going to be doing up to 200 miles an hour and really being able to lay it down. So this is going to kind of line us up for a 60-lap shootout here, Tyler, and really things to look out for. Are speed, draft, and when is the big one going to happen? I know everybody looks out for the crash. What are you looking for tonight?
I'm looking for patience, man. Tonight is going to be all about keeping your car clean. So a lot of people are going to hang in the back, wait for the end, try to make their moves, but that can do you wrong a lot of times if you get too far back there, or when you try to come up through the pack, a lot of people get spread out and you're not able to work your way through the field. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of strategy we see tonight. You're going to see some of these guys who, right from the drop of the green flag, they're going to try to lead every lap of the race. You're going to see some aggressive guys, and then you're going to see some of those that hang out into the back. Me personally, I'm one of those guys that hangs out in the back, tries to make my move towards the end, but like I said, that's not always an option. Once they get three wide, there's nowhere for you to go. You just got to pray you don't get caught up in that big one, which, as we know, can happen at any point tonight.
Right, and speaking of strategies and everything, we'll have 3 sets of tires and 75% fuel load. So these guys are really going to have to keep mind their P's and Q's here. There are no fast repairs in this league, and a new update to iRacing here is the use of the new Geico restart zone. It's going to be right there kind of before that start-finish line, and they cannot accelerate or go before that point. If they do, it's jumping. You got a daggone good chance of getting a black flag here, and that's not what you want to, not what you want to have here at Talladega. If you're down by a lap here, your race is almost over. Being able to figure out how to stay current with these guys, you almost have to pit at the same time. All 20 cars, or we're gonna have to, do 10 at a pop. But if you get stranded out there by yourself, you're dead in the water. You're not gonna make anywhere, and that pile is either gonna pull away or they're gonna reel you in. So I don't think you're gonna see anybody or any single car pull away here and really actually pull it, make anything out of it. Jeremy Richmond and Martin Plute placed the fastest times during practice here tonight, Tyler. Plute had a 50.58 and Richmond had a 50.79. So, really, you kind of see how they qualified. As Jeremy Richmond so far, he is up in the second position. So he has been able to maintain that kind of speed starting out this race. I don't see where Martin Plute is. I believe he qualified 10th. So he's actually a little farther back and maybe having a little bit of trouble here with the track. But the track temperature is at 141 degrees. So, Tyler, as an iRacer, what does that mean to you?
Well, typically that would mean it's going to be really slick. But being that Talladega is so stable, I don't imagine that being much of an issue for these drivers tonight. The biggest thing for them is just going to be strategy. Like you said, if they get to the point where they lose the draft, it doesn't matter if they're on the lead lap or 3 laps down. Their race is essentially over without a caution flag. So there's going to be a ton of communication in this race. You're going to have numerous teammates planning strategies on when to pit at the same time, because if they lose that draft, they know they're donezo. And even when they get to the point where they plan to pit on the same lap, if they don't execute properly, they're not going to come out of pit road together. And if you don't come out of pit road together, you're going to lose a ton of time. Even if you can eventually group back up with each other, it's going to be devastating how much time that you lose versus a pack that, 10 or 12 guys that might have pitted together and come out together. They're just going to mow them through the field.
Yeah, and really a great job what you've seen happen here with the NSRA League. They do have a plethora of different racetracks they go to. I believe last week you guys were at Darlington, and that, that is a track in itself. No turn was the same that night. But something to keep in mind with Darlington is Noah Owens in the 88 car. He will be serving an end-of-the-line penalty this race, so he's going to be starting way here in the back. In this league, you are required to claim a caution if it was you. The admins did deem it was him, so he'll be starting actually back here in the 13th position. So yeah, man, he'll be starting on the back foot. I'm sure that's not where he wants to be. Once this thing kind of swings 3 wide here, Tyler, he's gonna be he's gonna be kind of on the back foot, and where I wouldn't want to be is middle lane here at Talladega. I understand you can get 3 or 4 wide, but my middle lane, there's just too much wiggling. For here from the camera view from where we're at, more the infield or slightly in the spectator seats. The cars look like they're solid and they're going around, but we'll get you guys a little cockpit view here, and you'll see these cars are wobbling all around the track, and these guys not to bump and touch and get banged around it's harder than it looks, man. Because I've been here before, and this is hard. The super speedways and the amount of speed, there's little room for error.
Absolutely, there's very little repair. I actually just did a race in the truck series at Talladega, and I won on a green white checker flag restart, and I had to utilize every lane. Like you said, the middle lane, very sketchy. You don't have anywhere to go up high, you don't have anywhere to go up low. You got to be cognizant of other guys not being able to hold their line properly. It really depends on your strategy. If you're going to look to play it safe and kind of follow a pack, the low line's your best friend because you can shoot down below the apron to avoid a wreck. If you're looking to be aggressive and make moves, you're going to want to run that high lane. So you don't have a lot of room for anything if people start spinning or wrecking to go anywhere. You got the wall, and then you got cars on the inside of you. So it's a gambling game at this track. You want to be aggressive, but at the same time, you want to make sure you make it to the end without a fast repair.
Absolutely. And 21 drivers on the track tonight: Sam Kohlhaas, Jeremy Richmond, Philip Scott, Michael Tellier, and Tom Lester. Rounding out your top 5 as they're getting ready to take off here on the green flag. We'll take a quick little peek, see how this restart goes here, and see if we can kind of keep this thing all in one piece. Somebody to keep an eye out for us. Chris Darling there back in the 11. He's a fast mover, so we got to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we take the green here. The 28 jumps out. He's going to toss the line right there. Looks like he got a pretty good start here. He's going to look to get pushed from the car behind him going into turn 1. Everybody's playing it real safe right now as they get up to speed. It looks like that's the 98 there on the outside. He's getting a good push from, I believe that's the 47. I apologize in advance. I was not able to load the session, so it's going to be very difficult for me to read these car numbers. I have no names to go off of or anything. So, but that outside lane, look at that right there. They get a good push right there. It's all about hooking up and being able to push. And they're going to look to shoot out to the lead right here. The 98 getting pushed by the 47. The 31's coming up to give him a push too. Now that the 28 comes and pushes the 98, looking to block that low line, leaving the 47 hanging out to dry.
Yeah, and Jeremy Richmond, during practice, he's very used to kind of hanging out there in the front. He led a whole bunch of laps out there, getting pushed by Martin Plute. Those two guys working together. But Martin Plute also worked with Adam Pettit, so I expect those two to meet up and get pushing around earlier on. But Jeremy Richmond and Mike Tellier here, those two guys had worked during practice as well. So it's good to see how the guys that have met during practice, reunite here during the race. They know how each other drive. They know they're not going to wiggle, and who can handle the pushing and who can't. Because there are some people that are leaders, and there are some that are pushers. If you are not a leader and somebody starts pushing you and you don't expect it, that car is going to start walking around on you. So, and you see that right there by Mike Tellier, doing a great job. As you see, he follows behind him. You kind of drag up that right front side. Allow that aerodynamics to kind of slow your car down a little bit, because last thing you want to do is push him during a turn. And why is that, Tyler?
Oh, you push during a turn. If it ain't the last lap, you're going to hate it, because it's not going to end very well. But you see the 47 there. He knows how to draft with this 98. They just pushed him out to the lead. We'll see if the 98 sticks with him this time. As he does not, he drops down again. Oh, and then comes back up. He's racing very aggressive. Now you see the 47. He's going to take him 3 wide and hang him out in the middle. Not sure why the 98 was trying to be so aggressive on the block in there. You'd expect to see him stay high with the 47 and work that high lane. He chose to try to block and then reblock, and that's going to leave him hanging out to dry as he just cuts in line there in 3rd place on the low line in front of the 31. That was a ballsy move right there, but he made it work, so he lives to see another lap. Yeah, now that could have been real dangerous here, especially in the beginning of these beginning laps here at Talladega. I mean, just him sliding to the inside or working his way down the middle was almost suicide, because you saw those two lines form up and he just started marching back. Fortunately,
the 31 car, I believe, of Brock Whitehead, actually kind of let him in there. That way he could get back in line without him, him hanging out there and kind of going back. But I believe that's Julian Tesoro, who's actually kind of rolling out of that lead pack. I don't know why you would stay up top. This is a big draft game here, Tyler, and I just don't know if that's really the best line to be running, or do you think it's some strategy, kind of that hang out in the back thing and see how it goes, as you see Nate Maurer going ahead and cutting to that inside.
I was going to say it's definitely some strategy being called, but he's way off pace. I didn't see him get into anything. I assumed he was going to go back and work with some teammates there, but he's coming to pit road right here. It looks like a couple of people actually in front of him. No, it's just him. He must have had some contact or something. I did not see what happened there, but that's a really interesting thing that we're going to want to keep an eye on. He's not going to lose a lap. Essentially, he will lose a lap because he's going to be down by himself, and the field's going to catch him relatively quickly. I didn't see what happened to him there, but he must have gotten some damage that he felt like he needed to come down before. We got a good battle up here, as now we're going 3 wide for the lead here.
Yeah, we're kind of a real tumble there. Everybody kind of dialing it back in, kind of getting the feel out, but man, we're only 5 laps into this thing out of a 60-lap race. So, I mean, the tires are good and warm. This thing's starting to stick. They're starting to hook. And as I said before, we got Chris Darling already working his way here on the outside, kind of taking a peek. He is in that 6th position, working that outside line. So, don't let that Toyota machine really, don't blink, because I think he's going to catch up and start going ahead and laying down what he likes to do. He's very good at these super speedways. I don't see Ben Mashburn here tonight, and I know he's another one of his right-hand man to help push him around the track and get him going. But yeah, man, and just him really kind of working through. We're gonna take a little bit of a ride along here with Chris Darling, as you see, kind of stay in that aerodynamic bubble, not really touching that bumper there as they get ready to slide here into turn 3, and we'll see if he has any help there. It looks like Jeremy Richmond goes ahead and slides behind him too. And these two are going to link up and hopefully kind of don't fall off the pace here and keep up there, Tyler.
Well, and those 4 drivers that are the 2 front on the low lane and the 2 front on the high lane, they were working together there on the high lane. And the biggest difference that I was seeing is they were staying closer to each other than the bottom line was doing. The bottom line was being a little cautious, understanding that it's early on in the race, not doing a lot of bump drafting or anything. And the high lane was being a little more aggressive. And that's going to prove beneficial for them. If you can stay closer to the car in front of you, not necessarily bumping them, but staying in that little air pocket and giving them that push through the draft, that's going to work for you. And you have the inside lane there being a little more cautious. It's going to work for that higher lane to get the runs that they need to take the lead. And you saw that. All 4 drivers that were on that high lane ended up being on the front row right there, which now you see they're looking to go 3 wide again. They split up a little bit there. Kind of curious why they didn't stay together, but they're looking to race and beat some laps and gain some points, man.
Yeah, and really kind of a interesting move seeing Chris Darling and Jeremy Richmond taking that middle lane. Maybe a little more conservative, because you see that bottom starting to kind of slick up on those guys there in the 88. It looks like Noah Owens is going ahead and marched his way all the way up here to the 6th position. But, maybe a little tire conservation there toward the top. Ooh, man. You see Richmond get a little loose kind of behind Chris Darling there. So, that aerodynamic bubble behind him is really going to give him kind of a bump feeling, it's you got it, you don't, you got it, you don't, and then, and that's going to start playing on that rear spoiler, whether it's, you're going to be able to hold the traction around this track or not. But yeah, seeing them slide back in, going double wide here, going around turn 3 and 4, I fully expected to see Chris Darling kind of march back down, but Adam Pettit, as we've seen him in many races before, leading out there in the front of the pack, but for how long? Chris Darling's too hungry for that spot, and he's pushing his way on there on the outside.
Yeah, they've regrouped here now. Instead of trying this 3 wide stuff with the middle lane, they've got back into 2 lanes. Only about 5 cars on that top lane now, though. That bottom lane is very, very well organized. The only problem with that is they're not super close. The high lane is doing a better job at keeping those cars close together, which will give them a better speed boost. You see the low lane now, they only got 3 right now that are bumper to bumper. So look for that high lane to get a run here coming into turn 3.
Yeah, and interesting to see actually that high line staying so far off the low lane on the back stretches. I've seen sometimes even that high line will move down and try to use a little bit of that door draft as well. That way you can sling into that outside, because you are going slower staying high But when you get on the front stretch, all that extra speed from not having to turn as much, it, comes to pay off. So, yeah, as you see, it looks like they're doing it right there. Kind of come down a little bit for that door draft and go ahead and see if they can get worked around here. Because I don't know about you, man, but the more I stay double wide, the more concentration, the more focus it takes to keep your car in line and in a straight line and not really, fold each other's doors in. I would want to be single file as soon as possible, but at Talladega, you and I both know that's not possible.
It's definitely not possible, and the biggest thing is just working with people you're familiar with. You want to get behind or in front of somebody that you've raced with before on other tracks that you trust, you know how they push. Maybe you've worked with them in practice a little bit, but right now, I know you had kind of alluded to some of the side drafting where you come down and you take the air off and shut off of them. I don't anticipate seeing that anytime soon. We're only on lap coming to 11 right now out of 60. Everybody knows one wreck and they're out of the race, so they're trying to be aggressively cautious, if that makes any sense. So you see out here leading the 17 right now, he's very, very good at being patient but aggressive. I believe, if I'm corrected, that's Adam Pettit, 17, right? I apologize, I don't have the names in front of me.
Oh yeah, that's Adam Pettit, and you've seen him out in the lead before, normally with Jason Gracias, and I believe Tristan Mayer out there normally is who you kind of see floating out front. But right now, I mean, Adam Pettit, Noah Owens, Chris Darling, Jeremy Richmond, and Dominic Tesoro are rounding out your top 5 so far. But don't count out Martin Pluth there in the 4 car. I really like that paint job he's rocking there with the flames, coming down the hood. But he had a lot of speed in practice. He kind of fell off during qualifying, so he knows how to draft and get going around here. As it looked like they're running up on some lap cars, and going to go ahead and stay safe, stay toward the top. It looks like Tesoro might have gone ahead and worked out whatever he had going on. But yeah, that whatever he had going on is going to cost him, as that goes ahead and probably puts him another lap down. Yeah, I see him right now at 1 lap down so far, so he's staying out of the way, staying out of trouble, and maybe hopefully he'll stay out of the big one and get that lucky dog move around. But man, right now the way these guys are driving, nice, calm, cool, and collected. I don't know if there will be a caution so far.
As far as Tesoro goes, he'll be okay. He just needs to hang with this pack. Not sure what the issue was that he had earlier on, but he will be the only car a lap down, so he just needs to hang with this pack. He'll be all right whenever a caution does come out. But what I was alluding to with Pettit, who's still out there leading this race, is he's always been patiently aggressive, and surprisingly, at a track like Talladega, patience can be leading the race because it is the safest spot on the track, period. Depending on who's pushing you, of course, but if you got somebody you're comfortable behind you, that front spot is the best spot to be at a track like Talladega. You never know when the big one's going to happen, and when it does start, anybody behind it is in the danger zone. So he's doing a very good job, as now you see the 11 being pushed by the 98 on the island. They're making a little bit of a run right here.
Yeah, and when you're getting racing like this, kind of piling up and staying in line, how do you keep that patience? How do you have that mental, kind of preset in your mind that, we have a long way to go, and let's say you're in Ryan Sizemore in the 8 car here. You're sitting here, you're fast, you want to get moving up front, but you're boxed in. I mean, what do? You just kind of maintain your time, make sure you're kind of pushing when you're supposed to. Because if you bump 31 in front of you, I believe that would be Brock Whitehead there. You start pushing him, and it may start an accordion effect. What mental patience do you have to just kind of hang out there and try to maintain and not get in trouble?
You got to roll with the punches, man. You have to understand that this is a 60-lap race, not a 1-lap race. And at the end of the day, you can be as aggressive as you want, but you're not going to make it to the end if you're making bad decisions. Understand who's in front of you. Try to get with somebody that you trust, that you can rely on. Try to communicate with them, preferably, obviously, a teammate that you're in chat with. And you just got to work through the race together. You can't be making bad decisions this early on. It's all about give right now. I know a lot of these guys out here, they're all about winning races, and they want to be fast, and they want to be known as one of the top guys. But at a track like this, if you make that move too early, you're not going to be there at the end to try to show your name. So you got to be patient, work with who you can, make some friends, and drive until those last couple laps.
Yeah, and speaking of being patient, man, I just don't know if Trey Whitehead here going ahead and taking this thing 3 wide with the 29 of Ira Colas there, kind of kind of forming up that third line toward the outside. It worked for them for a little bit, but I just don't know if that's starting to pay off. If he's starting to kind of dial back there, or if this is going to be a stalemate here.
I'm very impressed to see them do that by themselves with 2 cars. You can tell that low line, they're not organized, even though they have control of the field down there. They're not sticking close to each other. They're not pushing very well. And you got the Trey Whitehead loves the high lane. I have watched him for many weeks at many tracks, and he will run that high lane on any track all day long. So it is no surprise to see him being pushed up there by the number 2 car. I believe that's the 29. I'm impressed by that run that they got. That was only 2 cars worth. Now you see another car coming up there to help them out a little bit. I can't quite see who it is, but Trey Whitehead loves that high lane, and he's aggressive. He knows how to be patient, but he tends to be aggressive. And he's going to come up there and look to make some noise up here up front. Another strategy that you might see here is some of these guys, if they get a little frisky, that can put some pressure on some of these guys that are being patient. And they see how the momentum starts to kick up, and that might cause a mistake out of them and actually put some other people in a bad situation. So I know a lot of them want to just ride around right now and, log these laps. But at the same time, there's some of these guys who have been in this series who haven't been up front very much. They know this is an opportunity to get their name out there and to show that they know what they're doing, and they're going to look to get up front, and that's going to put some pressure on some of these other guys.
Man, and speaking of pressure, Jeremy Richmond is now going to have some trouble seeing that Chris Darling kind of ducked away from them there and went ahead and blocked. Blocked that 33 car that was working his way on the outside. So Jeremy Richmond kind of lost all the draft and all the pushing he was giving Chris Darling there on the backstretch, and then Chris Darling goes ahead and resumes and gets back in front. But we've seen this story out of Chris Darling a lot, is really staying out front, making his blocks when he needs to, and then just going ahead and working there. Oh, man. Yeah, great move.
We have a question in the chat. When you feel from the back of the pack, you feel make a move and gain tons of spots. I was about to say the 33 right there, Trey Whitehead. He has been known all season long from the point of me broadcasting these races. He makes some aggressive moves, and he'll hang back, and then he'll make these moves like he did right there. He started a little farther back, but he's aggressive. He's going to get up there, and he's going to put some pressure on some of these guys who might be trying to conserve a little bit. As you see, he looks like he had an opportunity to get below. I believe that's the 38 out there leading this race. Or
98. 98. Jeremy
98.
Richmond.
You can tell the 33, he wants to lead a lap. He's getting out there. He's just moved up to the middle lane. He's going to come down and actually side draft right now. And he's going to lead this lap right here.
Ooh.
He's going to be the most aggressive driver on the track right now. As you got Chris Darling up on the high lane in the 11. He's got a few cars right there that are looking to push him to the front. But the 33 right now, he's making the moves of the race. And he's saying, hey, you boys all day long can sit there and be patient, but I'm going to get up here and lead some laps.
Yeah, and boy, he's definitely a smart move there, and really trying to cut around these turns here. As Jeremy Richmond looks like he goes in, puts it back 3 wide, and then see if he can get around. But Noah Owens, I'm taking a little peek at him. He is getting pretty loose here, so I don't know if the draft's playing with him, if some tire wear. To see him, we're coming up on about a third of the race rolling out here. If anything's starting to come of this, is Chris Darling from the high line all the way down to the low line. Whoa, boys, Richmond's getting loose.
He almost just got taken out by the 33 there. He made a big aggressive move. But other than that, down and blocks in front of the 33, maybe looking to work together now. The 98 making some really aggressive moves. You feel like they're coming to the end of stage 1 right here with the way they're racing. You got the 11 leading down to the low lane. You got the 98 up top being pushed by the 33. This is getting really intense. I did not expect to see this early on. We're only 20 laps in, a third of the way through the race, as the 88 has a big push to the 11 here on the low lane, looking to reclaim that lead.
Yeah, and you kind of, I'm wondering if, you just kind of feel a couple of those oddballs out there, when both Trey and Brock Whitehead showed their face up here in the top 5, all of a sudden the mix-ups are starting to happen. These guys are starting to, make a move to the high side, block way low, and then, now we're caught up in the, like Jeremy Richmond caught up there in the center lane again. It's interesting to see the tempo kind of getting turned up here as we're going on lap 21 out of 60. So just what a handful this has become, as it looks like Chris Darling slides to the high side. Whoa, way up to the high side.
Yeah, and you can see it's really only the 12 cars who are really getting frisky. The rest of the field, single file on the low lane behind them. They don't want any part of all of this aggression. You're starting to see the point now, though, where people are really switching lanes really quickly. I think they're starting to get away from their teammates and the people they're comfortable with, and they're making some of these moves with drivers maybe that they haven't worked with a lot. They're just taking advantage of the line that they see has the momentum. As you see, the 88 here is going to come here and look to lead this lap, with a 98 getting pushed to the middle lane. And the 88 does lead that lap just by a fraction. But yeah, they're starting to get a little single filed a little bit more. But that was a lot of aggression there for the last couple laps. I'm, like I said, really surprised to see that. You got a big group in the back who's starting to fall back a little bit. They don't like what they're seeing up front. They don't want to be any part of that. And probably look for it to start settling down a little bit after all of that.
Yeah, and a little check back here with Christopher Darling. When he swung wide, really high, he's now rolled back to the 10th position. So I'm wondering if, him out there with all that fresh air kind of leading, if fuel mileage is starting to come into play. If he needs to now kind of duck in behind somebody and start, drafting at this point, trying to conserve some fuel. Because these other guys have been, single file or kind of mixing it up. But he's always had his car out in the front of some line at this point. So I'm wondering if him hanging back here in the 10th position, which seems pretty safe at this point. Oh, boys, we're starting to scatter up front here.
Big shake-up right there. You got one car down on the apron, got shuffled out of line. Like you were saying, the 11 car backed off. It could have been a fuel strategy, or he could have just not liked what he's seen, which was a pretty good call there. As you saw, the 88 got shuffled down to the apron, and he had to back up big time. He's probably out of the top 10 now as the 98's getting pushed from the high lane. Looking to block the low lane a little bit right here, but he's going to stay. Oh, and now he's going to get shuffled to the middle. This isn't going to be good for either of those cars on the outside. You got a train down on the low lane, and the 98 and that car in the high lane, 29, I think, is going to get shuffled out big time.
Yeah, and it looks like Ryan Sizemore. So I mentioned him back there hanging, in the between 12th and 15th position, had just led a lap. Has now rolled his way to the front. So that's one thing that gets me about these super speedways, is even if you're in last, you saw that, Noah Owens came up and led a lap. Ryan Sizemore has now worked his way up and led a lap. These guys are starting to kind of figure each other out about when to attack and when not. We saw Dominic Soro go ahead and take that little move to the outside, see if he could try his luck, but then it kind of died, as you kind of see Jeremy Richmond's getting hung up there again. He's going to be marching back because he's got no help. But, he was in the lead. Now he's working 7th, and probably farther back if he can't figure out a way to cut back in. So, but yeah, this whole thing, Tyler, with the amount of speed and with the amount of laps we've put down so far without a single caution, I mean, this is great. I'm really impressed at how these guys are handling their cars. But I'm sure tire wear and fuel mileage is starting to really play a key role.
I think they're starting to settle in right now. They saw it get a little spicy, and they saw a couple cars get shuffled out, especially the 88 down on the apron. And they said, all right, we probably need to throttle this back a little bit. You can see all but 3 cars all the way down on the low lane working together. They understand that this is a 60-lap race, and you can get a little froggy as now you see the 88 come back up to help the 98. But they also understand you got to make it to the end. That's the bottom line. You don't have anybody can win this race, but if you're not there at the end, you don't have a shot. So, looking for these guys to settle in a little bit like they are. Understand that they're probably getting ready for green flag pit stops. If I had to imagine, I'm not sure exactly how many laps that they have in the fuel tank, but as you see these guys get lined up single file, I wouldn't be surprised to see some green flag pit stops come soon as we get ready to reach the halfway marker of this race.
Yeah, and the fuel load only being at 75%, it does kind of put that weird factor in as whether they can or they can't, of how far they can make it. But guys who kind of sit back and maybe kind of watching this thing happen and attacking later. Chris Darley in the 10th, Adam Pettit in the 11th, Martin Plute in the 12th, Philip Scott in 13th, and Mike Tellier 14th, Jason Shue in the 15th. These are the guys who normally I see running top 5 that all of a sudden it's like they have an extra gear. All of a sudden these guys will link up and fire out of there like a rocket and get their way up front. So they're kind of letting these some of these guys who normally aren't up front a whole bunch, you know, yeah, let them go ahead and lead, see how they do. And I think all these guys are going to link up and start really, you know, they may form their own line and get working back up front. Because if there's anybody right now who can do super speedways, it's Jason Shu. I believe he won the Max Graphics Super Speedway Series League last year, or the last season they ran. So, you know, he knows Monza, he knows Daytona, he knows Talladega. So this is just second nature to him. So I don't expect Jason Shu, unless there's a massive wreck he can't get out of, to be hanging back here in the 15th position.
Well, I mean, if you got some of the guys that are typically running up the top 5 every race, if they're hanging out in the middle of the pack, there's a good reason for that. They understand that some of these guys that don't typically lead some of these races, they're being aggressive. They want to get up there, be seen, you know, feel good about running up front, but, you know, you always got to be careful. Guys that aren't up front, typically, they can get a little sketchy, just not being familiar with the territory. So they see that going on. They saw how things were getting a little wild, and they said, I'm just going to sit back in the middle of this pack right now and just hang out and wait for my time. Is you still see some fairly aggressive moves happening up front, switching some of these lanes. They want to get up there. They want to be in front the entire race, and the guys that are typically up front know just play it safe, hang out to the end.
Yeah, and Jeremy Richmond here in the 98 and the Salon Swank Chevrolet. I mean, man, he is really driving that car. I mean, he's not really letting it kind of putt around, and he is picking his lane and taking it when he wants. And it's really something to see, you know, if any kind of looseness happens. We saw about 6 or 7 laps ago, he kind of started loosening up, kind of walking around on him, but now he's right back in line. But, you know, I believe he's dialed right behind Noah Owens there and going ahead and giving him a push. But Jeremy Richmond hasn't left the top 10 all race, so it's good to see him out front. But can these guys, I mean, like I said, maintain 2 wide? I mean, I'm glad it's not 3, you know what I mean? Because these guys have to be white knuckle at this point and saying, you know, communicating with the crew chief. All right, man, how much fuel do we need? You know, I would assume you would take tires at this point, you know. But if you're running in the back, would it be a good idea to short pit? Maybe take a set of right sides and work your way up front? I would probably say no. Here at Talladega, I mean, seconds matter, but pit road is not where I would strategize it. I need all the tire life I can get to produce as much speed as I can get. You know, what's your take on that, Tyler?
My take on that is tires are not a factor. You might see some of these guys not change tires at all this race. It really depends on who they pit with and the strategy of those guys that pit. How many people are going to get to come down to pit road together? They all have to be on the same page. You can't get 6 cars come down pit road and some take 2, some take 4, some take 0. You all have to be on the same strategy, come out of pit road at the same time, be able to withstand that draft and to stay in line and make pace on the rest of the pack. Tires have never been really that big of a deal at Talladega here. So I would be, as you see the leaders coming out of pit road right now, this is going to be really interesting. You got the 831, multiple drivers. And the 8 spins out coming down to pit road. He's going to hit the inside wall, and that is going to really hurt him. It's probably slowed down the rest of the guys trying to avoid him. I would imagine a lot of these guys here are just going to take fuel, might take a set of tires right here, but they're all going to be on the same page regardless. The 8 has probably ended his hopes right here without a caution as he spun out coming into pit lane and hit that inside wall. Looks like some pretty significant damage.
Yeah, and it did look like it bent him up a little bit. It looks like we're going to stay caution-free through that one. We did just reach the halfway mark, so if he goes in, you know, how detrimental is it if his car has only, you know, got a couple dents in that sheet metal? How detrimental is it here at Talladega?
It's very detrimental at the draft. You can kind of hang tight as you see the rest of the field here coming. Let's take an eye at this to see if we have any more incidents coming to pit road. That's a lot of cars. We got some contact, one in the grass, and he's going to come across and clip the 11. That's going to probably be a caution. The 47 clips the Pepsi car. I believe that's the 28 there. He's going to be stuck on the inside wall.
Yeah, and I believe the 77 car got a piece of that one, too. I believe that was Doug Neal that might have gotten clipped there.
Don't see a caution either. That's
still no caution. Yeah, they may not be throwing a caution because everything's down pit road, which is absolutely, I mean, detrimental. I can't think of a worse situation. You know, you want to come in, you want to get a good pit stop, you got to get back out on time. And man, just what a whole lot of trouble there. Diving down.
Situation. There's not a worse situation than getting messed up on pit road like that when a caution doesn't come out. All these guys right here, it looked like they just took fuel. So they're on, minimum pit stop time. They're trying to come out back together with a group, catch that draft, and make some moves. Those guys that had issues on pit road, they're desperately looking for a caution here, as they're going to be hung out to dry the rest of this race if they don't get one.
Wow. Yeah, and we'll have to definitely take a peek back at Sam Kohlhaas here in the 28 car. We'll get back to the race, but we'll keep an eye on him because it looked like he got 4 tires. Whether he's fixing some of that damage or not, we'll have to see. But yeah, he's still down pit road.
And I did not catch, did the 33 and did they pit the 33 and the 31? I did not catch that. I believe everybody pitted in those 2 stops. Okay, so everybody has pitted in those 2 stops. Get the 33 and 31 working together. They got 1 guy back there behind him and then a 3. So I would imagine they're going to get grouped up pretty quick and form a pretty significant line, which is only going to hurt people who had issues on pit road even more. As once that line forms up, they're going to be able to make some really good speed. But this is where strategy really comes into play. The front guys, they might start battle a little bit for the lead, but anybody that's not in those first 2 packs right there, they're going to want to stay single file, very tight on each other, and try to catch us back in front of them. If they get to the point where they start getting greedy and start trying to pass each other, you're not going to be able to catch this lead pack and have a shot, as I imagine all of these guys can make it to the end of the race from here on out.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing to kind of brush at. Take a look at Adam Pettit's car here. I mean, he is folded up. He may have clipped one of the walls or spun out there on pit road as well and got caught up in that. But as you can see, yeah, as you were saying, we are getting ready to catch that entire pack here, as it looks like I believe the front 6, 7 cars there have now caught each other, and now, Nathan Maurer out there out back, he's got to be hoping, oh man, can I just get enough draft? Because they're going to leave him here in a little bit if he can't stay in that aerodynamic bubble to kind of pull him back in. So yeah, right there, doing a great job staying stuck to the back of Tom Lester there, and he may be able to stay in contention. But whether the second pack behind him has enough to really get pulled up, I believe in that second pack is led by Doug Neal here in the back. Yeah, with Justin White and Dominic Tesoro. So yeah, but they're almost 3 seconds off Nate Maurer.
They're not going to be able to do much either with just 3 of them. You got 8 cars in that first pack, and all they got to do is stay single file. They're going to just launch away from the rest of this field. But looking back at that 17, that's going to be some pretty significant damage if he gets back out in front, or even the ability to push him. That right rear quarter panel being buckled up the way it is, that's really going to affect the aerodynamics. If he gets some cars to his outside and he's trying to push real hard in that low lane, that can cause that car to jump loose on him, and he might not have the stability to be able to push the line that he's looking to push. So right now it's probably not a huge deal, if he gets a caution, gets able to repair some of that damage. But if this stays green the rest of the way, that might be an X factor for him on his ability to help people or win the race himself.
Yeah, we'll kind of have to keep an eye on Adam Pettit there. With the new damage model that iRacing has come out with, I'm not sure if that right front damage is going to start causing a whole lot of problems for his right front tire there and kind of cut it down on him. A lot of these guys are kind of testing out these cars for this week, seeing the new damage models coming out with the next gen, the Xfinity cars. It makes it a lot harder when these cars, hit the wall or get a whole lot more damage. It absolutely takes a toll on the car. No more of the bumping and banging. As we talked about before, look who has caught up to this front pack here.
Yeah, as soon as that front group of 8 got side by side, that pack of 3 behind them caught them quick. I'm really surprised to see that. I thought they were going to stay single file for a while and try to just make it an 8-car race, but you got that pack of 3 that caught them like it was nothing once they got side by side. As you see the 2-car pushing the 77, looking to lead a lap here, as you still got the 8 leading the inside row.
Yeah, and one to shout out for is Justin White there in the 2-car. I mean, he's been hanging out in the back, and now I think he's figured with 24 to go, this is really his time. He's got to push up front and kind of keep him going. But Doug Neal, in that Simbox race car, I mean, you got to love it. I mean, the underdogs, the guy who've been hanging in the back, are now all of a sudden emerging and you know, forcing their will upon this pack up front. We still got a long way to go. You know, it's just what a handful. I mean, we got 50 miles before we get to the end of this race, and 50 miles, a lot can happen. Seeing we haven't, the only incidents we've really had here tonight, Tyler, are during coming down pit road. I mean, we haven't had anything out on the track.
Pit road would be the biggest X factor in a race like this. I mean, knowing when to brake and how to maximize the smallest amount of time on entry and exit of pit road. I mean, exit's pretty self-explanatory as pedal in the middle, but knowing your brake zone on getting into pit road without spinning out or speeding or losing the pack that's with you, that's a huge factor here, especially when you have a race like this where there's not any yellow flags. You just got to know what you're doing. And I noticed that we had a question in the chat to those guys in the booth. If you're 8th, 9th, or 10th coming down to strategy, what's going to be yours? If I'm sitting back there right now, I'm just hanging out. I'm watching and I'm looking at how aggressive everybody's being, who's making moves, and who am I going to work with once I get up there. If you're sitting 10th right now, there's really no point in trying to get up there. Just try to keep the car clean and make it to the end, and know who your friends are. You've got to be able to be prepared to, you know, maybe make some nasty blocks and, you know, make some people mad, but you also got to know who you're going to work with, because you're not winning this race by yourself.
Yeah, and really, if you look at the entire track, you know, the field of cars have caught up to each other. I mean, we're right back bunched up like we were before, but now I think everybody's going to start getting a little antsy here, as it looks like Philip Scott's gone ahead and worked his way up into the 4th position, looking pretty good. You know, he's been hanging out there toward the back. You know, but we see Chris Darling. I think he's hanging back there in the, let's see, the 13th position. So you see him kind of swinging around out there, kind of taking his time. But he knows. I mean, I figure go time has to be 10 or 8 laps to go. You know, and
about 10 to go. If you're in the back of the field, about 10 to go, you get sucked up to the pack, you start making some moves and trying to work your way through traffic, because you got to understand that if they're 2-3 wide, there's not going to be a lot of moves that you can make. So you don't want to wait until 5 or less to go. You're just not going to be able to get up there in time. So we're on lap 40 of 60 in the next 10 laps. I imagine it's going to start to get really aggressive here, especially if there's not a caution. We haven't had the big one yet, just a couple of miscues on pit road. Look for these guys to really start to try to sort themselves out in the field, knowing that they need to put themselves in a position to make a move on the last couple laps.
Yeah, and I'm really being able to make those moves. As you kind of see Chris Darling look like he's walking behind Jeremy Richmond. Oh, as it looks like we got somebody going around. Looks like Noah Owens.
Oh, we got one spinning down to the inside wall. That was a great save part of that. We might stay green here. I can't see if we're under caution.
Wow, yeah, no caution at this point. I'm really surprised that we're not under caution.
We had one car that spun to the inside wall and hit the inside wall, and if it had been more than one, you would have seen caution thrown. But a lot of the guys got spaced out there. A few guys real close to getting, you know, pit road entrance penalties as they were coming up on the entrance. But this is going to shuffle the field up big time. We only got 20 laps to go. People are going to be spread out now. They really got to get back single file and work together to get that field bunched back up if they're going to have a shot at this.
Yeah, there we go. And I believe it looks like Tom Lester may have gotten the worst of it. As we can see, his car's pretty folded up here, Tyler. Man, yeah, that may have been that black car that was sliding toward the inside.
It looked like they were all going to save it there for a minute, and then I saw somebody get hooked right there at the end. And just being one car at a track like Talladega, the game doesn't throw a caution or something like that. But now you see the 2 car up here leading, 77 pushing them. That's only a 5-car pack right there with 2 behind them. If they stay side by side, you can look for those 2 to catch that draft, I believe, and make this a 7-car race. But this is going to free people up to make a lot more aggressive moves. They're going to know there's not a lot of cars in the front of this pack. They can be more aggressive with less risk of being taken out or wrecking out of this race. And that's going to make these last 19, 18 laps really interesting here if they only stay these 5 guys right now.
Yeah, and really kind of a heartbreaking move that happened there. These guys have been racing great all night, but I guess there was just that little pinch and a little miscommunication there. maybe with the spotter or something, or maybe the driver had a little bit going on. But yeah, it looked like Noah Owens just got a little bit loose and may have taken out Lester there. And I'm hoping his night's not done. And they're going to see if they can get it. It seems he's in pit. Looks like Ryan Sizemore's a lap down. Julian Tesorio's a lap down. Sam Colas, he's by 11 laps down. Matt Donnelly's 4 laps down. So yeah, I mean, and other than that, everybody else is still on the lead pack. But to keep in mind, we've been talking about them all night here, Tyler, is Jeremy Richmond and Chris Darling. These two guys, I mean, they were back away from those 5, have linked up, bumper to bumper here and pushed each other up here, back once again into the top 5. So these guys, I don't think they're looking to go away with less than a podium finish.
Well, that's exactly what their mindset should be right now. There's only 7 cars in this top pack with nobody else to worry about. They got a long gap before getting the 3-car pack behind them. So you see, I believe that's Philip Scott in the 99 kind of tailing the end of this pack. He's another driver who knows what to do to win these races. And whoever he's linked up with, that's who I'm going to keep an eye on right now. But you only got a 7-car pack right here. They know at their time, be safe, be careful, and let's make it a shootout the last couple laps if we're not going to have a caution here.
Yeah, but as your strategy at this point, we have 17 laps to go, coming up on 16 to go right there. Justin White in the lead, Doug Neal second, Jeremy Richmond and Chris Darling third and fourth in their respective spots, Dominic Soro in the fifth, Philip Scott sixth, and 5 seconds off of them begins Trey Whitehead, Nathan Maurer, and Brock Whitehead. What is your position? What do you do here in the top 6 here? Because I don't see these guys really kind of maintaining it and keeping calm, cool, and collected here. As you see Doug Neal staying on that inside, working with Justin White, how these two even got up here in the first place. And that's all it was a whole lot of teamwork. What do you do at this point? I mean, I know we still got to go, but I mean, go time is in 6 laps.
I'm trying to feel out who I feel really comfortable working with. I want to give a couple little pushes, carefully to some of the guys and see who's going to go with me, see who's not, and see who can handle the push or can handle doing the pushing. You want to make friends right now. Like you said, there's only 6 guys right here that can win this race. One of these guys is a lap down. You expect he's not going to do much to interfere with this race. You got to figure out who you're comfortable with, and regardless of if it's a teammate or not at this point, you're looking to win this race. So as great as it is to work with your own teammates, if you got a guy up here who is not a teammate or maybe not somebody you've even really gotten along with very well, that's the guy that you can link up with. That's what you're going to do to win this race tonight.
Yeah, and a handful of this is becoming here tonight. And a quick little shout out, to Simbox Racing here, Max Graphics, and coming out here and running in the Stay Tuned Sports 160. I mean, this is really boiled down to just a whole lot of strategy and great driving skill, and it's nothing less to expect from the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. NSRA does a great job with how they handle their drivers and things like that. The rules that they put. We have no controller drivers out here. Everybody here's on steering wheel, pedals, and a shifter. So there's no cheating. So that force feedback does start to wear you down here at Talladega, especially in these Xfinity cars here, Tyler. But I mean, what else can you wish for here at Talladega? I mean, we thought we were going to get the big one. We got a little scuffle there, about 4 or 5 laps ago, and here we are back up front. Everybody's still pedal to the metal.
The biggest thing here is nobody's had a break. We're going on, the 48th lap right here. Other than the green flag pit stop, it's been balls to the walls. There has been no break and consistency with these drivers having to run these laps one after another, making these moves, making these blocks, staying in the draft. It's just been nonstop, no cautions at all. So now you see them getting single file. This is going to be key right here where they're lined up. It's, 13 laps to go. And, whoa, we got a big wreck right there. Big wreck. That's got to be a caution.
What in the world? Who was that?
I saw the 88 and somersaults through the air right there.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I might have totaled him out, and that does bring out our first caution of the night.
Yeah.
Wow.
His night is over. He got hooked, put in the wall, and did somersaults through the air.
All right, and we're going to try to take a little peek here at the 88 and see what exactly transpired.
He actually was coming. The field was coming up on him. That's just the field behind him is going to be very upset with him. He stayed low. I'm not sure if there was any communication with the pack behind him, but those were the leaders that were coming up on him. And on the last second, he tried to take it high to let them by, and they had already committed to going high to go around him. So that's tough. If I'm the leader there, I'm pretty upset, and that changes up a lot of strategy on this race, man. You're gonna have the whole field back together. It's no longer a 6-car pack.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look here, and here's the reason I think the upset's going to happen. You know, we'll kind of slow-mo and take a look at his front bumper when this happens. He gets going, so we know he's accelerating coming off pit road. Watch the bumper. I believe he brake checks. He hits the brake and it nosedives. Let me see if I can get a better shot of that. Yeah, something happened there. And as he got going, you see the front end nosedive. And I don't know if he had a problem, a mechanical problem. Watch. See the front end duck down?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I just wonder if he had a miscommunication with a spotter about where to be and what in the world was going on. But that is not going to be good, you know, for those lead drivers. Where to be and what to do now.
Regardless of if that was intentional or not, rule if you're a lead lap car, leaders are coming up on you. If the leaders don't tell you where they want you, you stay in your lane. And he didn't do that. He changed lanes. The leaders changed lanes, and they packed him in the butt. And that's not a good feeling when you're the leaders. The 2-car, who I believe was the one who hit him right there, he's probably pretty frustrated. I know I would be if I was him. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens here after pit stops, who comes out. But the whole field's going to be bunched up now. So, we're going to have about 8 laps to go when this thing drops green. It's going to be a shootout from there on out. All bets are off. No more friends. No more teammates. You're trying to get to the front.
Wow, yeah, and a crazy turn of events there. I didn't see that one coming. I mean, I thought really the 2 in the 77 car, you know, of Justin White and Doug Neal out there. I thought those two were going to push and really give Chris Darling and Jeremy Richmond a run for their money. And I mean, I'm hoping this hasn't ruined his race. I mean, but this goes from lead to 12th position with damage. So this is going to be heartbreaking.
Look too bad, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it looks like a little right front damage still left, but the 2-car doesn't look overly bad. Certainly looks a lot better than the 88 car.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get a little peek at him here and see if we can see anything there. Yeah, he might be a little folded up there right there on the right front.
Yeah, but it's not too bad for a track like Talladega. If he's leading the pack, that might hurt him a little bit, but he's definitely going to be in a position where if he gets back up there, if he times a move right, he can still win this race, no doubt.
Yeah, give it the old Dale Earnhardt there. You know, you start from 15th position, you got 3 laps to go, and he's able to pull it out and win it. So nothing is impossible, and I would definitely expect to see Justin White kind of push to get up front. But you got to think, you know, man, you had a great shot, everything was going great, and then just a miscommunication between the spotters and a lapped car. I mean, so that just kind of puts everybody on the back foot. But this is going to be exactly how we started the race. We're going to be back double wide, and everybody kind of giving this final shootout as the pace car lights are off. So we are 1 to go, and don't forget that Tyler, that restart zone. So if somebody jumps, you know, this could be bad.
Yeah, but you got Philip Scott up here leading this race. He knows what he's doing. He's been up front many weeks in a row. He's definitely a top 5 guy every week. I expect him to be able to handle this restart pretty well. But it's all going to matter on who is going to work with who. You got Darlin up there on the high lane in 2nd place. And then you got the 31, the 98, and the 33. I know the 33 has been very aggressive. He loves the high lane, but he's down there in the low lane now. So we'll see if he sticks in that line or if he doesn't jump up and try to help that high lane out on this restart.
Yeah, and a quick little shout out to the guys out there in the chat. Stan Hausman, we don't see him out here tonight I know he had to take a provisional this week. I hope we're able to see him next week. I know things get in the way, but you know, when you're the Beer Street Journal car, you want him out here on the track for sure. And I'm really excited to see the new patriotic things they got coming up here in the following weeks to come here, Tyler. I mean, I know painters that Chris Darling even does on as for the Max Graphics. I'm waiting to see what all the paint schemes he has coming out for all these cars. So I mean, I see he's done Martin Plute's car. He's got his Max Graphics car. So I'm excited to see in the following weeks to come. I mean, just the immense paint schemes that come out here. I mean, they get wild. Well, they'll be representing, you know, Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force. They'll have American flags out here. I'm really excited to see how those come up. But tonight, right now, you know, we have 9 to go at Talladega and the Stay Tuned Sports 160. I mean, this is going to be a nail biter here right toward the end, and the big one may still be yet to come.
Yeah, I imagine we got a big one coming. I'm glad you gave a shout out there to the Stay Tuned Sports 160, like you were saying. They sponsored this race. Big shout out to them. Appreciate it. As we are about to go green flag here, you got the 99 of Philip Scott down on the inside, looking to lead this race. He needs to be careful in this restart zone. This is the first time they're doing this, and if they jump out too soon, he's going to get ate up. He does get a pretty good jump there, but so does the 31. You got the 11 with the 98 right behind him, and the 33 in the low line. That 99, very good jump, and with the 31 following him, that was very well executed. As they're going to pop out there in the lead, and they're going to be hooked with each other, so they don't really have to worry about that high lane coming and eating them up. As now you see the 33 hooked up to the 31 bumper, and they're immediately spreading out. They're looking to win this race. They know there's only 9 laps to go, and they're looking to go big for the 33, pushing the 31 to the lead here on the outside.
Yeah, the two Whiteheads, Brock and Trey, in first and second place here with Christopher Darling right behind. They kind of left him stranded up top there with Jeremy Richmond. So Philip Scott worked his way up into the third position and is going to kind of eat up a little bit of time here. He's going to hang out there for a second, take a look toward the outside and see if Chris Darling wants to go ahead and give him a push and get them worked back up front. But these two boys right here, Brock and Trey, I don't see those two really letting up anytime soon here, Tyler.
No, they're doing a really good job of sticking together right there. You saw the 99 jump to the high lane, but he just didn't have any help. The 33 is doing a fantastic job of staying on the bumper of the 31, understanding that high lane's not going to get a run if they can stay hooked up on the bottom there. And they're going to look to just keep this on the low line, hooked up together, and not give that high lane a chance to even come close to getting catching up with them. Because now you got the 29 coming in to help them push on the low line.
Yeah, and there we go as Philip Scott's getting a whole lot of speed there with Chris Darling behind him, pushing toward that high side. Philip Scott is now taking the lead from Brock Whitehead, but they are swapping back and forth here. That inside line's working a little bit faster on the turn, but not on the straightaways as he's getting ready to start marching back. Chris Darling bumper to bumper with him. Man, what a push here as they're starting to run out of room. I don't know, Philip Scott, we know he's used to getting pushed, and he can hold it. But is Chris Darling going to kind of mind his P's and Q's, take second position? I say no. Jeremy Richmond's going to go ahead and push him up into the second position, keep him in third, and keep walking around this track here. Boy, this is going to be tight as we're 7 to go.
Yeah, that was a big mistake there by the 99 coming down to block the low line. He got pushed from the 11 and the 98. A huge steam of momentum, and for some reason he came down and blocked the 31. Not sure why he did that there, as you see the 11. With a big run, the 90 comes out, the 99 goes down on the apron, and he is able to save it there, as that could have been catastrophic for the field, but a great save by Philip Scott. He needs to try to come up and catch this draft. I know he's way down on speed right now. It looks like he's probably going to lose the draft and end his chances tonight, but you got the 8 pushing the 98 on the low lane, and the 11 got hung out the dry there in the middle. The 4 come down to push, I believe that's the 69 out front now. Yeah. But that shook things up a lot. That's a tough break there for Philip Scott.
Yeah, Dominic Soro. I mean, kind of that lonely sleeping car out back. He's hung out there. We've seen him a couple times. We've mentioned him, and then bang, here he is up here leading. So I'm sure Jeremy Richmond, man, they're going to have some words after the race. I can feel that. As Scott, you know he's not happy about rolling on the way back. But a real veteran move there of not overcorrecting, slinging back up on the track, and causing the big one I think everybody's got eyeballs looking for. As we're coming down, 6 to go, 5 when we cross the line, and we got Dominic Soro, Jeremy Richmond, Martin Plute, who's returned back to the top 3, with Christopher Darley, and Ryan Sizemore, who had a little bit of trouble there on pit road, has now gotten himself back up in contention in the top 5.
Yeah, it's every man for themselves at this point here. As you see the 11s getting a really good push on 98. The biggest thing here is to staying on each other's bumper and staying in line. Don't peek out. Don't try to fight for that spot if you want that line to really work. Because the high lanes, or I'm sorry, the low lane's doing a really good job at keeping that momentum. I expect to see that high lane to get a little bit of a better run coming out of that turn, being a little more organized. But I think that low lane, you got the 17 back there of Adam Pettit. He's got that damage. He just can't push as good as you see the 4 car get shuffled out to the middle right now. He's not going to be liking that very much as Trey Whitehead in the 33 comes down to push him. The high lane might be hung out to dry now with the 98 and the 11. The 69 is going to beat this lap, 4 to go.
Man, and what a jam up this is getting. So we are 3 wide coming down to the wire. I mean, these guys, I mean, the endurance, the patience has now come down to this. I mean, we saw a little bit there with Jeremy Richmond getting into Philip Scott. Now, I know that was a little bit of a scuffle there, and I don't know if words are going to be said, but we're going to have to keep an eye out here if there's going to be any more trouble out of this front pack. I mean, Martin Plute, we're doing a great job staying on, we thought he was jammed up there on that middle lane, but now he has worked his way up back into the lead as he comes here into turn 3, Tyler. What a handful this is becoming.
Tell you what, this is who you want to watch right now, and it's the 99 to Philip Scott. He's caught back up at this pack. It looks like he's sitting about 10th place. I know he's in the back of this line, but I tell you what, if there's anybody that's motivated right now, it's that guy after being almost nearly spun and making a fantastic save. You see him on the tail end of that high lane right now. Watch for him to be there at the end of this race. You still see the 8 pushing the 69 on that low lane, but keep an eye out for him. He's 5 deep on that high lane. That car is going to want to win this race after what happened to him and making that amazing save.
Yeah, and we'll kind of keep an eye because you see he's right behind the guy that put him in that position to begin with. I know Philip Scott, he does get a little bit of a temper there, but if they can keep him calm, cool, and collected, he may be able to retain his position, get back out front. But he has a lot of cars to get through. 9 more guys in front of him as he's working the outside lane behind Jeremy Richmond. I mean, man, he's got to hold this car together. As it looks like Trey Whitehead goes ahead and dials in behind him, hopefully looking to get that high line moving as he makes it. Whoa!
There.
Yeah, go ahead, Tyler. You saw it.
Yeah, he makes a aggressive move there. He was hoping for some people to come with him. He was able to duck back down into behind the 98, though, as you see the 4 car getting a big push on the high lane now as we only have 2 laps to go here tonight in this race. It has gone by very quick. You got the 11 car pushing the 4, and you got the 8 car pushing the 69 on the low lane. This is going to come down to anybody right now. Now you got Philip Scott being pushed by Trey Whitehead on the high lane, 3 wide. Keep an eye out for him. He's making a big run as he comes up on the 47, the 11, and the 4 coming up. Like, oh, we got a big wreck, huge wreck. Philip Scott's in it, the 98's in it. Oh, everybody, 29, Ira across the 2. Everybody's in that wreck right there except for the front 4s. That's going to bring out a caution.
Wow. And there it is.
That was intense. That's what we were waiting for right there. That's the big one. Everybody's going. Everybody's pushing. There's no lifting at that point. Everybody knows there's 2 laps to go. We have to go now. If you're not the leader, you're giving it everything you have. You don't care about how hard you're pushing the person in front of you, and that's just that's tough. Tough break for everybody.
Yeah, really ugly there. We're going to kind of give it that Goodyear tire blimp here and see exactly what happened.
I didn't catch it live, honestly, so I would be very curious to see what happened here.
See if anything happened. I think we may be a little too far away. Let's check the Michelin chopper.
That's
there.
What it was. The white and green car. I can't catch that number. He tried to make a block in the middle lane.
47.
And that did not work. Is that Mike Tellier?
Yes, it is. It looks like the 47. Yeah. So let's see if I can get a little better.
I believe he tried to make a block there that just wasn't going to work and turn that car that was there. Probably wouldn't have worked out even if he hadn't blocked because they would have been 4 wide going into that turn, but that's tough for him and everybody behind him.
All right, we'll get right here. As you can see, it looks like Jeremy Richmond is on the inside, kind of taking that little peek there. I'm waiting to see because it looks like he comes back down to get him.
Yeah, just not a good job at staying lined up. You can see the top 2 cars, they're pushing up to the high lane here, and that leaves these 2 The 47 and 38 hung out in the middle, and they just didn't do a good job of staying lined up. I would imagine the 38 was trying to kind of peek and see what was going on in front of him with only 2 laps to go, and just not good communication there. Come down to the 31, got the 17 of Adam Pettit right there, does a good job. The 8 got hooked, and he came up the track. Other than the 31 and the 8, I don't think there's a ton of damage. Oh, okay. I stand incorrect, because 98 came up in the 2, and 98 somersaulting down the track. Philip Scott got involved in that. Adam Pettit comes and hits the 2 right there. Numerous cars with damage there. I thought a lot of them might have stuck through. As you see, the Dr. Pepper car doing a great job down there, weaving his way through that wreck. You go to the cockpit view of the Dr. Pepper machine right there, and that's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I believe that was a 49 car.
Yes, great job of working through that wreck. That's what you got to do. You got to survive on tracks. If you're in the back and you don't have a move for the win, you got to survive knowing that big one's probably coming.
Here we go, right here. Oh,
job.
Man!
What a job by the 49
yes.
Dr. Pepper machine. That's the move of the race right there.
Yes.
If this guy manages the top 5, that is the move of the race. He kept that car perfectly clean, went all the way from the high lane down into the grass, back up the track, never touched anybody.
Wow.
What a fantastic job of keeping that car clean there.
Wow. Yeah, that was something. And you did say him making it up front. Let's go ahead and take a shout out for Bryce Hunter there. He is in the 6th position after avoiding all that.
He's got a shot, man.
Yeah,
he's got a shot.
Absolutely. As you can assume, already behind him, Nate Maurer there in the 7th position, and I believe everybody behind him has got a buttload of damage.
I would say, in any circumstance of this situation, it's the first 3 rows. Those are the guys that have the ultimate opportunity. Anybody behind them, kind of a long shot. That 49 Dr. Pepper machine, he's probably amped up right now on adrenaline. Look for him to make some aggressive moves. But anybody in this first 3 rows, they got a really good shot at taking home the checkered flag tonight.
Yeah, and a couple of these extra guys, it looks like Jason Shue and the 48 car of Lester. It looks like they may come down, try to get some more repair here, because they're folded up pretty bad. But man, if you're in Martin Plute's position, up here in the front position, in first place, you got to be loving what you saw behind you. Now I have less people to compete with and let them kind of do their thing, in the back. But, as per the usual, we got Martin Plute, Dominic Tesoro, Chris Darling, Mike Tellier, which is interesting because the 47 is the one who actually got turned around with Jeremy Richmond there, and he maintains 4th position. I believe he's got a little bit of damage on the front of his car. Let's see if we can take a little peek here and see. Yep, yeah, he's folded up there in the front a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him a little bit, but you just never know at a track like this. If you're getting the right push, you'll be able to make it work. He certainly ain't going to lift. He's going to be giving it everything he has. Yeah,
boy, and really you have to. I mean, this is going to be a green-white checkered here. If they can get around 1 lap back to the white flag, and then it's all over after that. If there's a wreck during the white flag, there's no stoppage. They're going to keep going. So, if Martin Plute, gets turned around here and it wipes out the whole field, I mean, there's not going to be really much to happen. I mean, it's going to be the war of attrition at that point of who can get through. But, right now, seeing that 49 car, of Bryce Hunter working through that last wreck, he may have a shot at this. And I'm liking his odds right now.
Yeah, it's any man for himself at this point. There's, like you said, green-white checker coming around this time. You're just not lifting. You're full throttle rest of this race, and whatever happens, happens.
Man, yeah, pace car lights are out, so we are back under green flag come this, man, yeah, and this, coming up on the next restart zone. This is the Beer Street Journal last call time, so... Yeah, good move there, Stan, and man, drink to this one, because this is going to be a shootout here toward the end, and we're going to see if Martin Plute can stay out in front of these guys and give them a run for their money. I've seen him do it before, but Chris Darling, he's not one to kind of bat an eye at either. These boys are going to push, so here we go as we get ready to line up. Watch for that Geico area, and that's green flag.
4 comes out to a great jump. The 11 is right on him. That is perfect for the inside lane. The 69 and the 47 just did not get going. You see the 33 coming down. The 47 drops down before the 33, and the low line, that's going to give the low line a huge boost and really hurt the 69 at the Sora there. But the 4-car Martin Blue out here with Darlin right behind him, they're looking to control this race. All they want to see is that white flag, and then it's every man for themselves from that point on.
Man, but a quick mover there. I think that's Nate Maurer that kind of slung out there going in and send this thing 3 wide. He wants to get up there in the top 5. He does. 4th, 3rd position, still moving. Doing great.
God, what a move by the 11. He cut across all 3 cars, get to the low lane. He's getting pushed by the 33 to the lead. That was possibly the move for the win of the race. As you see, the 11 still getting pushed by the 33. 47 behind him on the low lane. The 69 of Tesora in 3rd place, looking to block the 971 of Nathan Maurer up top as we are getting the white flag. 1 to go. 33 pushing the 11 right now.
Yeah, 3 wide. Well, actually 4 wide there with Nate Maurer on the top. Looks like, oh, Martin Plute's getting a little loose.
Look for the 33. He's trying to set up the 11 here. He's gonna come up and block the 4. You got the 77 now pushing the 11 on the low lane. 33 on the high lane being pushed by the 4. He gets shuffled down. This is gonna be huge for the high lane. The 4 needs to push the 33. He needs to push the 33. And they get scrambled. The 33 is gonna come down and block the low line, try to take the momentum away from them. As you got the 33 and the 4 going into turn 3, 92 up high, 971.
Oh,
this is going to be a
here it comes.
Coming to the stuff. Oh, they're working. The 33 getting pushed by the 11. Who's going to come out of turn 4 with the lead? The 11's got all the momentum pushing the 33. The 4 and the 92 are hung out to dry. Is the 33 going to be as a blocker? Is he going to be able to
33's got it.
The 11 looks, but he comes back in. The 33 of Trey White is going to win this race as the 11 gets turned at the start-finish line by the 4. What a race by the 33. I told you he'd be aggressive. Look for him coming from the back, and he put himself in the position tonight to come home with the checkered flag. Congratulations.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and Trey Whitehead pulling that one off. I mean, I knew this was going to be a shootout right here toward the end. But
I tell you
what a brawl that was.
Go back to 1 lap to go and watch that move by the 11 car. He cuts across from the high lane to the low lane, makes a block, and gets the push, outwon him the race. 33 made a block after that, but if the 33 doesn't make that block, that 11 car, that was a gutsy move that he made there coming from the high lane. I believe it was on the back stretch.
We're going to see
what a
here.
Race.
Yep, this will be the restart here.
Yeah, you fast forward through here, I'm almost positive it was the 11 car.
Yeah, we'll just make sure we keep an eye on him and see what he does here. Oh,
right
dog.
There. Oh, he got shuffled. Okay, so he got pushed and bumped by the 971 of Nathan Maurer, and it just worked out for him. And I thought he made that move.
Man.
But, what a save.
Yeah, just look at these guys. Look at the stack up. Man.
What a race for the 33.
Wow. Yeah, and we're going to see if we can take a little look. I believe that's Pettit here in the back, and see if we can see what transpired of that wreck that happened right there at the end. Martin Plute's kind of getting bumped around a little bit. In the meantime, I'll let you kind of roll down and see if you can find 3rd place here. And we'll kind of keep an eye. Martin Plute getting there on the side of the 92 car. Julian Tesoro. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, Tesoro forward. Yeah. Oh, they saved it though.
Yeah, so far so good. Kind of rotate to the 92.
Martin Plute with a big push right there to the 33 and Whitehead.
All right, 11 gets loose. Oh boy.
Big block coming down there by the 33. I'm kind of surprised he gave that spot up, knowing that the 4 was going to have that run.
Right.
The 4 tried to block there, and he should have come down and blocked the low line. Ooh.
Right there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like 971 right there. Nate Maurer. Didn't have enough real estate. Oh, come on.
Yeah, you're just going for broke at this point. You understand it's the last lap. It's anybody's race, even if you're not in the front row, and you're just not lifting. You're not cutting any slack to anybody. and you're doing everything you can to get the best finish you can.
Yeah.
Big hit there by Tesoro and Pettit.
Yeah, and once again, Tellier getting mixed up in all this mess again. Just man, just kind of takes the end right out from under you. And it looked like Jason Shue might just squeak by. He's gonna go ahead and sacrifice his car off the wall and slide through there in the 3 car. Man, man, that was close. I mean, just oof.
Congratulations again to the 33. That was a fantastic job by him. Just making the right move at the right time and getting the win tonight.
Oh yeah, and it's just man, that just tough. I mean, tough placing. Of all these drivers, really kind of getting through to all this here. With Martin Plute. I mean, at the back, in the front, at the back, in the front. I mean, just really having to battle his way all race. But let's see if we can actually find. Did you ever find Martin Plute?
I did not.
Let's see if I can get him down here.
Are we going to be able to pull any guys in for interviews, or are we not able to do that tonight?
Oh yeah, I am totally able to do that. I just got to get his butt down here because he didn't do me a favor there, and it looks like we may have Martin Plute on the radio. Martin Plute, how you doing tonight, bud?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Oh man, dude, what a race that was, and really right there at the end. I mean, you hung out there in the back, and you fight your way back to the front. I mean, just walk us through the last few laps there.
Yeah, it was just trying to get with people that I knew I could work with, like Adam and Chris, obviously. And it was just, that first caution saved me because I got messed up in pit road. God only knows what happened there. I don't even know what happened. So, yeah, so I lost the draft. So that first caution saved me, and then that was chaos at the end, though.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say there was a huge pileup behind you. It looked like Nate Maurer tried to share a little too much space with somebody else, and it kind of bunched him up there right there at the end. And I thought you gave Chris Darling a little piece of your car right before the finish line. No harm, no foul, but you let him know you were there.
Yeah, it wasn't super intentional. I was trying to push him, and he was, I don't know. I was trying to stay behind him to pass Tesoro there at the end. So,
but that's all right.
Yeah, it all worked out.
Yeah, that's all right. You're a frequent winner at a lot of these tracks here, Martin. I've raced with you before, and man, what patience you had to have to really stay out front and keep this thing in a line. I mean, hardly any cautions. There were some mix-ups there on pit road, and a couple of I believe 1 or 2 cautions there at the end, and then obviously once the white flag was out, it was over after that. It didn't matter. Everybody's going for broke, trying to stay out front. But I mean, you placed third tonight, and I believe upcoming. It says it's an off week, but I believe there was a change. You guys are changing to Dover next week.
Yeah, I think it's Dover next week. I think they switched the off week in Dover. So
okay.
Yeah, we should be going to Dover.
So you guys got the Monster Mile coming up. I mean, how are you feeling about that track?
I absolutely hate that track.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Darlington with me. Like the last 3 weeks, we've had my 2 least favorite tracks, Darlington and Dover. So, as long as I keep 4 fenders on it, which I didn't do at Darlington, as long as the car stays in one piece, I guess it's all right. Miles will bite me, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's definitely a difficult one there, especially with the concrete track and being able to stay hooked to this thing. But man, great showing tonight. You placed a third place. I mean, still a podium finish. I know you wanted the win. You were out there out front for a while, but tough break. You still got up front. But you will go ahead and give us a shout for your sponsors, bud, and we'll go ahead and let you go.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for broadcasting. I hate to admit that I was watching it during the race. Sitting in the back, I was kind of bored, so I had that up, so it was good to watch that. Thanks to Max Graphics and Chris for putting this nice paint scheme together. It looks great out here. And Justin and Stan and everybody who runs the league, Beer Street Journal. It's a whole lot of fun.
Oh, man, and we appreciate that, Martin. You did a great job tonight, and we hope to see you next week. I believe Mitchell will be back here with you, and hope for a good showing, bud.
I'll catch you all next week.
All right.
Come around more, Patrick.
Yeah, I'll try, bud. I'll try.
You got a knack for this.
Yeah, I'll try. I definitely want to see you guys. I assure you that.
Yeah, I'll catch y'all later.
Thanks, Martin. Man, and there's Martin Plute. Tyler, just a great guy to be around. He really, he maintains his calm. He's able to stay calm, cool, and collected. and just really, just drive the car and make things happen. And it's great seeing him place there in third. But somebody who you normally, see up front a whole lot of times is Chris Darling. I've seen him racing, I believe, in the Haas Series. He won at Michigan, and he placed a second here tonight at Talladega in the Stay Tuned Sports 160. We got Christopher Darling here, but how'd you, you were running around there with Jeremy Richmond most of the night. How did you feel? Did you think you had this kind of really in the bag? Did you think you were going to win it tonight?
Nah, man. Super speedway. It's all about rolling dice, and anybody could win. So you never really know until you cross the checkered flag.
Yeah, we kind of saw Julian Tesoro. He was kind of rolling there in the back, and he came in fourth place. Bryce Hunter, he was tumbling around there in the back. He placed fifth. But I've seen how you kind of work up front in the speedways. Taking the draft away and then giving it back to somebody else, and you can kind of mix it up. And really a wild move you made there in the final laps. When you were kind of tucked up and going 3 wide, you made that sharp shoot down to the bottom lane. I mean, was that what you were planning to do? I mean, I didn't see how you had any room.
That was. I was kind of working with Martin a bit. Definitely wasn't planned. I was telling him there was a run coming, and he told me to block it. So I went up high to block it, and there was about a 10 to 15% chance that Nate lifted. He didn't lift. I got a little bump, and I just went where the car sent me. There wasn't a whole lot else I could do without like wrecking the whole field. So no, that shot down the backstretch wasn't planned, but it definitely worked out in my favor.
Yeah, that shot took it pretty good. We are looking back here at a slow replay there, and you did take some damage there on the right rear of the car. I mean, just what a handful you had tonight. A lot of great, clean racing. Even your pit stops almost seemed to go unscathed. You didn't have really anything going wrong for you tonight, and you gotta love it. Being able to come out week after week and really not having a whole lot of trouble. I mean, of course, as long as you're up front, you're out of 90% of the trouble. You kind of get tumbled around the back between that 15th and 20th spot. That's really not where you want to be, and then that's where things get happen. But super speedways, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in last, you still have a chance to win it up here in the front, and you saw a lot of that tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna let Tyler go ahead and kind of round this out.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you. First of all, fantastic job on your second place finish tonight. You did very well. When you did get bumped and shuffled out of the low lane, I thought that was you making a move from the high lane all the way across 3 lanes to the low lane, which was amazing. But coming out of turn 4 there on the last lap, it looked like you had an opportunity to make a move on the 33 for the win. You peaked out a little bit and then came back down. What was going through your mind there, and what made you decide not to come up and make that pass?
Yeah, I think I probably had a chance to at least race him to the line, if not get by him. But I don't know. I'm just kind of touch and go right now on when I'm going to be racing. So I didn't want to wreck anybody. And I sort of felt like I wasn't going to make a pass down low with the yellow line rule. So yeah, I just stuck there. There was no sense in wrecking anybody for the win or anything like that. So I don't know. Sometimes it's just got to be that way. But I had a good time. It was definitely a fun night. A lot of clean racing. Missed a few incidents. So yeah.
Man,
Again, great job finishing second. You got any shout outs for anybody tonight?
I got to give a shout out to Taz Racing Customs. I know he's going through a hard time. Definitely check out all his pages. Hook you up with a sweet custom diecast. Definitely all the sponsors of the league. Stay tuned, Sports, Spear Street Journal. Everybody that makes it, run here. Justin White putting on a good race. And Race Control did a pretty good job tonight. Definitely impressed with that too. So just want to thank everybody who came out and raced.
all right, Chris, you the man, and don't forget, yeah, shout out for Max Graphics there, and the paint schemes we're looking forward to in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Check out my page, Max Graphics. It's facebook.com/MXGRAFX for now. Got a announcement soon on a website, so keep a lookout for that. Got a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, hopefully see the car on track week.
All right, awesome, Chris. And that is our second place finisher. We'll see you next week at Dover. So, yeah, stay buckled up, get practicing, because you got a hard race coming up next week.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Man, and you right there, Tyler. You kind of see, he he didn't mean to do that, but man, he made the best of it. Really, kind of coming out on top for that one. But man, what a shootout here toward the end, and the winner of the shootout being Trey Whitehead. Getting up front when you least expect it. Kind of dangling there in the back, third, fourth, fifth position, and taking home the win tonight. Trey Whitehead. I mean, what was going through your mind here, bud?
Man, I mean, on that restart, we had a little bit of right front damage from that big wreck that happened that set up that green-white checkered. And, oh, man, I got to thank my teammate Brock. He was wrecked out of the race. He ended up blowing up right before we took the green. He was spotting for me there, and he was guiding me through the whole process. And I'm just thankful for, Chris and Martin for helping me out like they did on the backstretch and coming into 3 on that last lap. It was pretty insane. I just, man, a lot of things went the right way tonight, which usually doesn't happen for me on these kinds of tracks. So glad to finally break through and get the win.
Yeah, hard to say they were working with you. I mean, 10, 15 laps, but before we got to the end, man, y'all were slicing and dicing. It weren't really playing nice, and then right there toward the end, I guess they kind of go ahead, let's go ahead and follow him. He's got the fast car so far. The only one that had no damage really up there. Chris Darling got bent up a little bit. I think Martin Plute was able to stay out of most of it, but a little scrape here and there. But you unscathed, coming through on the win. I mean, dude, I mean, where you qualified and where you placed, I mean, that just it had to be really a dream out of this mind to come here at Talladega, where no matter where you are and what place you can be, you can win. And you coming out on top tonight, I mean, just it really shows a testament to that. And the driving style that you had just seemed to work for you. I mean, was there any kind of game plan? I mean, other than winning, coming into this track tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit of game planning going into it, but places like Talladega, Daytona, it's all about survival and getting the most points you can out of it, and coming away with at least the same or a better points position than you were in before. The plan really was, I mean, we split it halfway through. I thought it was going to end up going green at the end, and then that one wreck happened. I thought there was going to be a caution, but there ended up not being, and I didn't think we had a shot at it. And then I think there was a wreck with a lap car or something like that brought that out and bunched us all back up. And then once that happened, I mean, I was just kind of looking around, seeing who I could work with. Like I said, my brother was out there, and then I had Ryan Sizemore out there as well. And unfortunately, they were caught up in that next big crash, and then it was just trying to find who I thought was fast, and I thought we found those guys, and Chris and Martin, they were able to run up front. And we were able to hold on. So it's the game plan is always to win, but tonight I was a little bit more aggressive than I usually am at these tracks, and it seems like it paid off for me. So I'm just glad to, like I said, get the win tonight and get the monkey off the back.
Yeah, and being a lot more aggressive. I mean, is that going to be now what we're going to see from now on? Next week, you're at Dover. I mean, the Monster Mile, I mean, you can almost go 3-4 wide at that concrete track. What's your confidence level coming off this win into that track next week?
For sure, yeah. It's the confidence level is way up there now. Obviously, I think we've been running pretty good the last several weeks. Last week at Darlington, I thought I had a really fast car and just kind of faded early and had some bad damage. But I think I might have come away with the top 10. I'm not sure, but usually the game plan with non-Talladega and Daytona tracks is be patient early and then make all of our stuff up on the long run, because there's not really a lot of cautions in this league, which is great. I love the racing. So, we'll keep the same game plan, but the mindset's definitely going to be different, obviously, with the win now, and we'll try to get 2 in a row.
Yeah. I know you and I have tangled around the back of some of these races, kind of at Homestead and things like that. And it's driving the Xfinity cars is a lot harder than it looks, being able to really, gather control of the car, fuel mileage, saving your tires and things like that. And I think everybody doesn't really take that into account of what you have to do and what the foresight of, what you have to look at down the line. But, I mean, great showing here tonight. I mean, I am blown away by, one, you got lucky in some of them, and two, just being able to find some teammates being able to work with you out there. Great win tonight. I hope to see you at Dover and see how well you do there. I believe Mitchell Adams will be here, and he will host you guys again here with the Beer Street Journal. We'll go ahead and give you a chance to give us some shout-outs here, bud.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I'd like to thank Superior Concrete Products, my workplace here in Texas. They build concrete fence. We actually deliver all over the country. So if you would like to check it out, just go over to concretefence.com and you can definitely check all of it out. It's pretty neat. And I make it, so I know how good the quality is. So,
Awesome.
but obviously, like to thank them on the car. Thank Chevrolet. Thank Ryan Sizemore with Sizemore Motorsports. Like I said, all my teammates. We've kind of stuck it out through the season. Race number 9 finally broke through, and hopefully it's the first of many for this team, not just for me, and hopefully some more of us can break through. So I appreciate you guys for putting it on over at World Racing Network, and obviously Beer Street Journal for the league, and NSRA and all the admins and stuff like that. So I appreciate y'all again.
Alrighty, and thank you, Tri Whitehead. Just a great showing by you tonight, and I hope everything continues going up and up for you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Man, Tyler, you just hear the joy of him just winning this race tonight and being able to push his way through. I mean, just you got to think, starting from the back, working to the front, and then getting marched back again, and everything just going his way. I mean, you got to, and that's kind of the name of the game here for Talladega, Tyler, is really you don't have, a game plan sometimes. Is just be aggressive. That's all he had to say.
Yeah, you got to roll with the punches, like I said earlier on in the race, and he did exactly that. He started a little farther back, and he just knew how to work his way through the field there, and he knew how to make the moves at the end. He's a driver ever since I started helping broadcast for the series that I've really enjoyed watching. He's typically a guy that runs the high lane and is kind of unorthodox about how he drives and gets his way around the track, but he makes it work. So it was really awesome to see that 33 car make its way to victory lane tonight. I'm happy for him, happy for his teammates and everybody else involved with him, and I'm sure he's very excited to move on to next week after a night like tonight.
Yeah, and what a great race it was, to see these guys get going. But we're gonna go ahead and round out the top 10 here with Trey Whitehead taking home the win tonight. Long overdue, with Chris Darling in second place, Martin Plute third, Julian Tesoro fifth, Bryce Hunter avoiding that massive wreck in the big one, places fifth. So great job by him. Doug Neal in sixth, Jason Shue. He got in a little bit of a tangle up there. I was hoping he was going to be in the top 3, but he places 7th. Nathan Maurer 8th, Philip Scott 9th, and Mike Tellier in the 10th position. We'd like to thank you from WRN joining us here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series for the Stay Tuned Sports 160. Patrick Morrison filling in for Mitchell Adams, and Tyler Belanger being able to take up a little of the slack for me here tonight, and appreciate you coming out tonight.
Nah, man, my pleasure. I love broadcasting for this league, and look forward to continuing to do it. A lot of great drivers tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, and next week will be Dover, and that should be, I believe, the 23rd. You'll catch us back here at WRN, and we'll be broadcasting then. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a good night.